Hello everyone. We're going to try a bit of a bigger, more ambitious wire Suncatcher. This is going to have, I don't even know. This is going to be interesting. I have never done something like this before. So I love this heart that I found at Hobby Lobby. It is so gorgeous. It came within a pair of two, and they were for, how much were they? $6.49. Although if you wait for their beading sales, oh, you can get some really good deals. This and this I've had for years in my stash. Well, I don't know if I'm going to use these. Looking at them now, it only has one. Okay, we might put those aside, but I am going to use these and these beads. I picked this up. It's a color gallery. I picked that up at Hobby Lobby. This I picked up at Michael's years ago. I've got 16 gauge and 18 gauge wire. I think I'm going to use these 16. Well, no, I'm going to use the 18 gauge for the main part of my Suncatcher. The 16 gauge will be used for the clasp at the top. Okay, let's take care of getting off. Where are my scissors? I can't find my scissors, and I really need them. Where did they go? Oh, there they are. So last week we did a Suncatcher with some blue, kind of turquoisey beads. This week we're going to be working with some kind of coral colored beads. We've got some pinks, some kind of reddish orange, some browns. There we go. We'll just pull all those off. Whoa. All right. I don't know if that's all I'm going to need, but that's what we're going to work with. And then I may or may not be utilizing these. We'll just kind of wait and see. Actually, I think that would be really pretty, like to have it kind of hanging right above there. Okay. So I think I will open this up. If I can get it to snip, we will see. And again, the entire thing might come crashing down on me. Do I really want that? That's the question. Here we go. Whoops. All right, well, there's a few of those. Maybe we'll add those, we'll intersperse those in with them. All right, now, oops, I'm just trying to get the plastic off of this piece right here so I can use it. There we go. Okay. We'll set the rest of those aside just in case we want some more. All right. Okay, now for tools, I've got this one that kind of makes bells. It's rounded. It's got 6 different sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a really handy tool to have. I'm glad I got it. I might use this one, I might not. It just kind of depends. This is really good to have if you don't have one of these. This is probably a more familiar tool. It just depends on how high up you want to go on them. The reason that I really like this is it makes these consistent. So they're all consistent sizes depending on which one you decide to use. I've got 2 needle nose pliers just to have something to grip with, and then I have some flush cutters. It's kind of tapered on this side, but on this side, when you cut it, it just winds up flat on that side, and so it just makes it really nice and flush. So we will be using those tools today. All right. Now, for the first part, I am going to be making a spiral. I'm not quite sure yet just how big I want my spiral to be. I'm using the 18 gauge, hoping that it'll be strong enough. Okay. Whoa, that is really big. That is way bigger than I had intended for it to be. But let's see. I just want to bend that in a little bit. Don't want to spread those all over the place, but I want it to be a little more circular without going absolutely crazy with the... Do I want that kind of turned in? There we go. That looks a little better. And then I want it to be fairly consistent going around the spacing so that it's not like really close here but really far away there, if that makes sense. Because I don't want this to be huge, but at the same time I want it to be enough where it's like it really catches your eye. So maybe we'll go like that. I don't know, what do you think? I'm gonna move this a little more over this way. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the camera. Okay, I think I like that. So let's grab, actually first we need to grab this, because what I want to do is make a little rounded thing at the top. I want it to sit flush. And then we'll use our flush cutters to trim that off. Okay, that's enough of our 18 gauge. Again, if you remember, the smaller the number, the thicker the wire. So 18 gauge is actually not as big as a 16 gauge. So that's why I'm saving the 16 gauge for the top, because I need that to be the strongest part. All right, let's kind of bend this wire up and into place. Okay, I think I like that. And what we'll do is we'll be hanging our heart down here. Oh, I just realized this is all silver. This is all silver and my thing is gold. But I don't see that this can, oh yes it can, okay. Okay, so now we can affix that with some gold wire. That'll be really pretty. Okay, let's see what we can do. We're going to set that aside for a minute. Now, if I were a really good jeweler, I would have a little jewelry hammer, and I would actually hammer this, because hammering it tends to make the wire stronger. I don't know why. I don't get the physics of it, but that's what it does. So normally I would hammer this, but I don't have a jewelry wire or a hammer. I might have to invest. Now, let's take, I'm going to take this, do I want the 16 gauge or do I want to go down? I've got this, well, I want to use this thin wire for the actual wrapping of my jewels, so I want to make sure I've got enough of that on hand, so I won't use that. Do I want this or this? I think that is closer to, but I'll use that if necessary. Okay, so let's take this. We're going to thread it through here. And we're going to do kind of what we did last time in making a U. Okay. Gives it a little bit of wiggle room. Now, we're going to kind of pinch. That's going to give it less wiggle room, but I think that's going to be necessary for what we're trying to do today. And then we're going to wrap it once, twice, 3 times. Okay, that's going to be really big, but I think it's going to be best to get that on that really strong wire. Now, what I want to do now, let's see, let's just kind of make sure that end gets tucked in. I don't know if you can see that it's kind of sticking out a little bit. So we're just going to take our pliers. And we're just going to squeeze that here and there. Make sure that it gets tucked in. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is make a loop on this other side so that we can hang our next bead on there, because I don't think we're going to need a smaller wire for this one. I'm not sure that that will actually go on there. So we'll make a tiny little bend, and then we're going to stretch this over the top, do a quarter turn so that we can keep going, so that it sits like that at a 90-degree angle. Pull that off, and then we're just going to build onto our 3 right there. So we're going to wrap this 3 times. Hang on. My wire's not pulling the way I need it to. And I don't have the hand strength. Okay, there's once, twice, and that should fill in 3 times. Okay, let's do our flush cutter. And we'll grab our second pair. Where is my second pair? Oh, right there. And we'll just kind of tuck that inside there. Okay. So we made a new we've made a new bail, I guess, for that. A wire hook. It's a little on the big side, but it'll do. Okay, now I just want to attach one or two of these. We're going to use a smaller gauge wire. I don't know what gauge these are. I have had these wires since the dawn of time. So we are just going to use what I've got on hand. Let's see. Let's get that out of there. Now the nice thing about doing these things the way that I'm doing them, with wrapping them around like that, is they're not, even if the wire isn't as strong, it's not going to just simply pull off. Okay, so we're going to do one. I think we'll do 3. 2. Where is the opening? Am I blind? I think I might be blind. Okay, hence the glasses. So we'll have those 3 hanging, and then that is what's going to hang from the Suncatcher itself. Okay. Now this is a really, really thin wire. Let me try seeing if I can make it look nicer. By pulling it. This is a really thin wire. This is like crazy thin. So I'm just going to try to hold that in place, and then we're going to wrap that more than just 3 times. 3, 4, okay, 5, and then we're going to squeeze those together. I've got something all over. There we go. Get that off. I think it's hot glue. And then we're just going to squeeze those together. And keep wriggling that until it tucks in. There we go. Okay, and that brings those 3 down. Okay, I'm going to close that up a little bit because I want more room for wrapping. There's one. Sorry, I know I don't have, my lighting is off, but doing the best I can with what I've got. One more, okay. Now, let's try squeezing those together. Oh, come on. Now I'm just bending the wire itself. Okay, we will, let's round that back out. can, because I accidentally squoze it. You know what? This will be easier. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's use our flush cutters. And then we'll tuck that in. Okay, so that's going to be our end piece that is going to hang off of there. Now, I'm going to save those 3 beads for the very top. What I want to do now is something that I've watched others do, and we're going to take these and we're going to wrap it so it goes around the outside of the wire coil. So I need to pull out about, we'll start with about 3 feet. Let's see, that's 1-ish. That's 2-ish. And that's about 3 feet right there. Okay. Take our flush cutters. Now we're going to start this up here, because I think it'll be easier for me to start up here since I'm brand new at this. We're going to start up here. Excuse me. We're going to wrap this around. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa. Let's get out our needle nose and just, oh, it doesn't work if you're pulling the wire, Laurie. There we go. Okay. And then we want to pull it tight. Okay, that didn't go where I wanted it to go. Okay, there we go. We'll push that up nice and tight. Then we're going to grab the first of our beads. See if I can find the hole. There we go. No, almost. Oh, there we go. Okay, send it down the wire. Now, here comes the interesting part. I'm trying to keep this up top. Let's see, we'll go like that. And then we're going to start. Whoops. See, I don't want to pull so hard that I pull this off kilter. I just want it to sit. Okay, 1, 2, I can do this right now. 3, 4. I'll probably wrap 3 to 4 times between each one. Well, maybe 5. Let's go 1 more, because you need room between the beads as well. Okay. Let's do a dark one this time. All right, then let's slide down the wire. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to make that jiggle. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Ooh, two beads already. Look at Laurie go. All right, I am just going to keep threading these beads. I will stop when I start to run out of wire and show you what I learned on how to keep it going. Okay, we'll fast forward for a bit. Ninth time's the charm. Okay, I wanted to apologize for not having a lot of this on camera. I didn't realize just how much I was off camera until I started editing, and so I do apologize for that. I didn't mean for that to happen. But I'm switching to a voiceover because my sweetheart kids, and when I say kids, I mean they're 19 and 20 something year old. But my 19-year-old had a friend come and visit us from Minnesota, and they were just being noisy in the background. You could kind of hear them as I was talking through the first part. But once my son came home, the loudness got even louder, and then he came in to visit me in the kitchen, and and so it just got super loud. So we're just going to skip over the rest of what I had talked, the talking. Oh my goodness, I know how to English. The talking that I had done while on camera. So this was a really fun project to do. I am so glad that I went with the spiral. I was really proud with how this turned out. I was so proud that I immediately gave it away to my daughter's friend from Minnesota. And then I didn't regret giving it away because I always give everything away. But I regretted giving my first one away because I made another one and it just didn't turn out quite as good. And I kind of wish that I had kept that first one. But, you know, at the same time, it's just a thing, and I was super happy that the friend was super excited to get it, and I just really did enjoy making this. So I'm just, as you can see, I'm just taking up the little bits of, I don't know what you'd call them. They're just little bits of glass, colored glass, and wrapping 5 times in between them. And it makes it, well, I don't know what I was going to say, but it went a lot faster than I thought it was going to. This was so engaging and so fun that it hardly took any time at all. As a matter of fact, I've made 2 others since then, and can't seem to get enough of going out to Michael's and Hobby Lobby and picking up more things and looking at more videos just to see the kind of sun catchers that different people do, and you know, the possibilities of what I can come out with. And it's addictive. I mean, it's not a hard cry to say I'm obsessed with this right now. So I put one more on there, and so as you can see, I'm getting close to the end of my wires, and then flush cut it. I didn't want to wrap a whole lot because I wanted the ability to kind of wrap next to it without it becoming this huge gap in between the stones. I didn't want it to be very noticeable. So I flush cut that off, and I'm just bending the wire up, and now I am getting out a second probably about foot and a half of wire, because I wanted to make sure that I had enough to keep going with the end. And then what we'll do is we will wrap it around another 2 or 3 times. I think I did more like 3 or 4 just because the wire is so thin. I wanted to make sure it stayed on there well. And then we just keep going with our beating the rest of this. So we're going to speed up a little bit here. I think that should happen any second now. And it turns out that I didn't cut enough wire. There we go. And so I was a little bit perplexed about what to do with the rest of, I don't know. Oh, I'm gathering a few more beads. Because I think I was going in an order. I was with the colors. I was trying to be fairly consistent with the colors. So I needed a few more. What was I saying? So it ended up being that I didn't cut enough wire to go all the way to the end, and I really didn't want to have to cut another little bit of wire for the very, very end. And so I kind of played with, do I do something with it? Do I curl it in? What do I do with it? And it just finally occurred to me, well, you've got this extra space, you may as well just trim it off. So that's what I end up doing. I end up trimming off a bit of the end, and it doesn't look bad. It actually still looks really, really good. And so I was happy with the choices that I made there. And another thing that you can do is what I'm doing here is you can actually stretch it out too. You can take it, because the wire is very flexible and it's very manageable, it's really maneuverable, and so you can take it and you can stretch the beads out so that they actually go further than you think. And then, so here I am trying to stretch them out a little bit, see if I can push them up and just make this go a little further. And then I decide, you know what, I don't need that end, so I just trim it off. And I think it looks really good. I really, really do. So I turned it in so that the wire wouldn't come off of the end there. So next we have to attach the heart and the beads that I had put together to the end, and I think I use my 18 gauge wire to do that. The 18 gauge is a little easier to work with than the 16 gauge, obviously, because it's a little bit thinner. But I use my skinniest little guy on the bail maker. And now a bail is anything that you can attach, attach to the jewelry piece to hang it on, I believe. So I've attached part of my wire to that, and now I'm off screen again. I apologize. It's just easier to bring it up to my eyeballs. And the phone, if I try to bring the phone camera back a little bit further, then I end up with it in my face. And I bump into it enough as it is. So just trying to gauge what is closest to the top so that it hangs correctly. And then I had already clipped my wire, so I'm just twisting it around. Cut it off. And now that's hanging, and then adjust the wire a bit so that it's not so close together, and then we're going to make the top. As soon as I'm done doing whatever I'm doing. There we go. I think I was bending it again. Now I am taking and putting my I'm going to take and put my 3 beads on the thinner wire, and I'm pretty sure that's a 24 gauge. I'm pretty sure. that's a standard 24 gauge. 24 gauge is pretty standard for a lot of jewelry making. Okay. I think I messed up and I had to start all over again. I hope you don't mind this longer video. It is quite a bit longer than what I'm used to doing, but with so much of it needing to be presented at regular speed, it just took up a lot more time. So I hope you don't mind it. It was a lot of fun to do. There we go. I will try to be so much more careful about where my video is. Alright. Now I'm just opening up the little circle that I made so that I could insert the hook. Now, and then we put on our 3 beads. And basically do what we've been doing, where I make a circle 90 degrees and then twist it around 3 or 4 times. Cut off the excess and then tuck in. One of the ladies that I watch, she must have used the words tuck in so many times, it has just imprinted on my brain. Because that's all I can think now when I see it is we tuck it in. Now I'm going to use my 16 gauge wire to make the hook, the latch part. It is definitely a lot tougher to work with. I am going to use the flat part of my needle nose pliers to kind of flatten out where it had bent over the rim so that it's more usable. And then I'm going to take my bail wires and I'm going to use, well, first I'm going to flush cut it so that it's flat against that side there. Then we're going to take and use the second one to make the hook, and then we're going to use the largest one to make, it's kind of like an S hook, so we're going to make it come up and around. I'm going to use the flush cutters once more and then kind of manipulate things into where it'll just sit right next to each other so that there's no gaps. Although we do need to open up the bottom part right here so that I can attach it to the Suncatcher. And I think that's it. I'll do a finishing post, and hopefully you guys don't get too tired of watching me do Suncatchers, because I have a feeling it's going to be my thing for the next little while. So in any case, I hope you guys have a great day and make it a great week, and we will see you next week. Bye everyone.